trust tea or coffee to be causing trouble at the back of the room. Thank you very much. Thank you for that gorgeous reception, and this is an incredible honor. And actually, I just want to second everything that we just heard from Fra, who largely stole a lot of what I was about to say. I rarely write speeches beforehand, because I usually like to look at an audience and just think what needs to be said right now, say it, and then go sit back down. And Sir Ian McKellen, just as we finished dinner, said to me, well, what are you going to say in your speech? And I said, I don't know yet. And he looked so worried that it started to make me concerned if Ian was looking worried. I suppose the first question, though, is what does it feel like to be labeled a trailblazer? And the honest answer is, other than feeling lovely, it starts to feel very absurd. Because I think about the trailblazers in my life, and I'm going to do the politics in a moment. There will be politics. But I want to do the personal, first of all, and that's my boyfriend, Richie. For all the work I do on TV, and thank you, Cliff, for the wonderful introduction, facing down right-wing politicians, Richie works in palliative care, in end of life. And so this isn't just about Richie, it's about the real trailblazers in this country, the nurses, the doctors, the healthcare people, the people who, especially when they're LGBT and working in those conditions, working with people, making every person a human being. And it's simple as that, our collective humanity. Knowing that every single person, whether they're a migrant, whether they're unemployed, whether they're running a big business or a luxury car company, or whether... had to give a little dig. Or whether they're a palliative care nurse, the contribution these people are bringing to our society every single day. And when I talk about a wealth tax and right-wing politicians, or even the Labour government, talk about, well, what about the wealth creators? I want to talk about the real creators in this country, the people who keep our country running. So to every single person in our National Health Service and to every single LGBT person being authentically themselves at work, in public, and being proud, thank you. The story I really wanted to steal was seeing Attitude when I was younger and always wanting that magazine. And yes, there being, you can say that bit. I can't probably say the second bit. Cause the headline. And so I think about what it would have meant to me at that age to know that I'd one day be on the cover of Attitude. I think about, I'm sure there'll be so many people who had this experience when PE used to be going on double PE, which I was terrified of. So I used to go lock myself in the toilet cubicle for 2 hours because I didn't want to face the bullying. I think about the young people who I meet almost every single day who talk to me over and over again about what it means to see an LGBT person be out in politics. And I think about coming back to my boyfriend Richie when I gave my first conference speech as leader of a political party. We believe it's the first time that a same-sex couple ever appeared on stage with each other after a political conference speech. Thank you. And I know what that meant to people because I got messages up and down the country telling me, from older people saying they didn't think they'd see the day, and from younger people telling them what that meant to them. And they didn't have to tell me, I loved hearing it, but I felt it too, because that's the power of representation, and that's again the power of storytelling. And the final thing that was stolen from me was Mr. Russell T. Davies. Because I remember, as so many people in this room will remember, the difference Queer as Folk made to my life. Now, I'm not suggesting I was doing the sorts of things that Charlie Hunnam and Aidan Gillen were doing in that series, but to see queer representation be unapologetically authentic, be proud and be bold, both may be partly the person I am, partly the politician I am, and partly the leader I am. So RTD, thank you. Just before I wrap up, I want to move to something that's adjacent to being LGBT. In some ways, it has nothing to do with itself, and in other ways, the pattern is very similar. A few months ago, I went to Calais. I knew it was going to be brutal. I knew it was going to be grim, but nothing prepared me for quite how dystopian it really was. People living in sub-zero temperatures in tents. And then on top of that, every 48 hours, the French police would come through, slash the tents, take people's belongings, and cause terror and fear. It would almost be the worst if they did it to every single person. But I noticed how they would just pick randomly, because that instilled even more fear in people. They never quite knew if it was their turn. And the most horrific story I heard was of a family who'd been brushing their teeth while one of these raids happened. Did they panic? Did they scream? No, it's almost worse. They stepped a few steps to the side, continued to brush their teeth, and then returned back to the site. That's how casual and how brutal and how regular these raids are on migrants in Calais. So many of these people are just fleeing for their life. They fled the country away from horrific terror, and they just want a better life. Now, some people will say, why don't they just stop in France? But to get to a French processing center, you have to go to Lille. It costs about 40 euros. It takes about 2 hours return. There are police at the train station who will stop people, particularly people of color. We have to be really clear how racialized this is. They will take their bags, they will take their passports if they're lucky enough to still have them, and they will confiscate their phones, which, by the way, is the way that they could get that asylum in the first place. And so we understand why people get on small dinghies. And the reason why I'm saying this to this room, and I'm always saying it whenever I have a microphone, is our UK government is spending £267 million on a 3-year deal, which is seeing the securitization of Calais, seeing babies tear-gassed, seeing water tanks that are filled up, shredded just so the water can waste, and people don't even get a drink. And that's what our government are up to. At the same time, when I think about who the real trailblazers are, 2,600 people in this country who have been arrested for standing with Palestine Action, many of them just holding cardboard signs saying, I oppose a genocide. Today, the court found the prescription unlawful. It is time to release those people. And in releasing those people and in ending the genocide, as Raymond Williams often said, and I always think about this quote, to be truly radical is not to make despair likely, but to make hope possible. And when I think about hope, I would just say this to any gay politicians, or in fact, any gay ministers, if I want to be a bit more specific. Throwing parts of our community under the bus, just because you want to be accepted by the right, will never appease them. They will just get worse, more hateful, and more toxic. We need to be clear, trans rights are human rights. And when we make decisions about people, be they trans people or anyone from our LGBTIQA community, they should be at the table. We should be co-producing, co-designing policy, particularly around healthcare, to make sure the people who are most affected are in the room. Because, friends, we all know when they come for one of us, they come for all of us, and we will stand united. Solidarity and thank you. Thank you very much.